Hello and welcome to Fernbank Science Center's The Sky This Week for July 18th through 24th, 2021. We have a full moon near the end of the week, some bright planets in the evening and late night sky, and an anniversary on Tuesday. Start the week facing the western part of the sky. Now, this is going to be interesting because if the weather cooperates, the clouds get out of the way, and the sky is clear in the evening on Sunday the 17th, face the western part of the sky. If you're not sure about directions where you're observing, west is the direction the sun appears to set. Face that direction, and a bright star-like object low on the western horizon is the planet Venus. Maybe you can use the waxing crescent moon here, waxing gibbous moon, as a marker. Venus is a little bit closer to the sun than Earth is, and this image is a bit deceiving. Venus does not look like a big blob on the sky. Instead, it looks like a really bright star. Over the next month or so, as Venus moves along its orbit, it will appear farther away from the sun and might be easier to find as the evening star. At this time of year, this year anyway, Venus is near the constellation of Leo, the lion. If you add in all the little markings to find the triangle shape for the lion's tail, the curve, the sickle for the lion's head, the star Regulus marks the heart of Leo. The next night, look a little bit further toward your left, toward the south part of the sky. The moon is a little fatter, a little closer along its orbit toward the east, and the constellation of Scorpius is a large constellation across the south part of the sky. Fishhook sort of shape for a tail, bright star Antares, the front part of the scorpion with its pedipalp sticking out facing toward the moon. But on the 18th, check over a little bit more toward the east for the planet Saturn. Again, it's not going to look like a round dot, but more like a bright star on that part of the sky. Lots of people like to look at Saturn through a telescope, even a small telescope that shows the pretty rings. About 3 years ago, the Hubble Space Telescope took this image of the planet Saturn, all its ring system. Notice the light here. The sun is shining on Saturn, and Hubble is in orbit around Earth, facing towards Saturn. My favorite image of Saturn was taken by the Cassini spacecraft back in 2013. This time, the sun is on the other side. We're standing on the side of Saturn away from the sun, so Saturn appears backlit. You can still see that wonderful ring structure. Most of the bright sunlight is blocked out. But the reason this is my favorite is over on the left-hand side of the picture. Look over here. There's a little tiny dot right there. That's Earth. That's us, our planet, all the good stuff. That image taken from 10 times farther away from the sun than we are by the Cassini spacecraft. Kind of puts things in perspective. By the 19th, the moon has moved into the arms of the Scorpion toward the south part of the sky and is heading toward full moon. If you remember that long fishhook shape for Scorpius, and now the moon has moved right into the front part of the constellation. You might remember from a few weeks ago this teapot shape, handle, lid, spout for the constellation Sagittarius. Tuesday the 20th marks the 52nd anniversary of the Apollo 11 moon landing. This is Buzz Aldrin in his spacesuit. The image was taken by Neil Armstrong, and you can see his reflection there in the shield. 21st, Venus is right near that star Regulus. If you remember that little triangle of stars for the tail of Leo the lion, part of his face is now down in the trees, and Venus and Regulus are close together. If you have a good telescope, a really clear sky, and you're looking down toward the horizon, you might even be able to pick up the planet Mars, another bright object. Again, Venus is not really a great big blob, but just a bright star-like object toward the western part of the sky. By Friday the 23rd, the moon has moved along its orbit and has got to its full moon stage. When the moon is full, a lot of people want to look at this through a telescope, but this is kind of hard to see. The sunlight is shining on the moon so that everything looks very flat. Crescent shapes or even gibbous shapes are much more interesting to look at for contrast. At 10:07 p.m. is when the moon has moved along, reached its place along its orbit where it's opposite the sun from the Earth. So if we stand outside and look as the sun is setting, the moon is rising. Different indigenous American groups had different names for the different full moons, different months of the year. For many, the full moon in July was the full buck moon. At this time, the male deer, their antlers, deer grow antlers, male deer anyway, grow antlers every year. Then a set falls off and a new set forms. And this is a time when the antlers have reached full growth. For the Cherokee people, this is the full ripe corn moon. And in some cultures, it's the thunder moon, kind of reflecting the changing summer hot weather. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting Fernbank Science Center. Please do keep in mind our website, www.fernbank.edu. Pay attention to our Facebook page that has the Friday evening planetarium virtual programs and Saturday science programs, and have a great week.